Chapter 81. What are you doing here? There's nothing left to say. You've chosen her now. Just go and then stay away. Christmas Eve was worse than Jenny had expected, and her expectations had been low. The comments from all the relatives she hadn't met in months drove her crazy. "Oh, Jenny dear, what have you done with your hair? It looks awful." "Oh, don't say that. Maybe it's fashionable among young people nowadays." "Oh, Jenny dear, you're barely touching the food. No wonder you've become so skinny." "Where's your nice boyfriend? What's that? Is it over between the two of you? You were so sweet together. You'll probably sort it out. And if not, there are other fish in the sea." In the end, she simply left the kitchen where the grown-ups were eating and finished her meal with the kids in the adjoining room. Later, everyone gathered in the living room to play board games. Jenny had voted for Trivial Pursuit, but the majority had wanted a game with charades. Everyone had a glass of mulled wine. The smell of the spices filled the room. Jenny had put on Christmas music on low volume. When she sat in an armchair with the legs pulled up under her, she felt a hint of Christmas spirit. Then the doorbell rang. Mother Johanna, Jenny's mother Johanna, went to open the door. "What a surprise! Merry Christmas, Kevin. Welcome." Jenny looked towards the hallway with a frown. How dare he? She had managed to avoid both him and Agneta since she had seen them together. She had deleted all their text messages and had ignored their calls. She had also carefully instructed Boris not to let anyone in, even if it was someone she knew. She had managed to stay away from them for 2 weeks, and now he had the audacity to come here on Christmas Eve. You insensitive oaf. He walked into the living room with a Christmas present in his hand. "Ah, look at that!" Jenny's cheerful grandmother looked triumphantly at her granddaughter. "I told you the two of you would work it out." She nodded contentedly. "He's here to celebrate Christmas with his girlfriend." Jenny took a deep breath before coldly replying, "No, he's not. I'm sure he has already celebrated Christmas with his girlfriend, my former best friend, Agneta." Keivan shrank. Her father Ingvar, on the other hand, grew. He got up. He had been sitting on the floor, putting the board game on the coffee table, and now walked with slow steps towards Keivan. He looked bigger than usual. Keivan backed away. Jenny looked at them in fascination. She had never seen her father angry, ever. Annoyed, perhaps, frustrated at times, but never angry. Now he was clearly pissed off. "Is that true?" Ingvar's voice was rough. Keivan shrank even more and licked his lips as if preparing to answer, but there were no words, no answers. Jenny felt a heat spread in her chest. Her parents were on her side. Somehow she knew that, but she had kind of forgotten it. Now that good old Keivan had hurt their daughter, they sided with her without reservation. It felt good. She no longer felt as lonely. "Well, maybe we should let the youngsters sort this out for themselves." Johanna put her hand on Ingvar's arm and nodded to Jenny and Keivan to go out into the hall. "I guess I deserve that," he muttered when they were out of earshot. She crossed her arms over her chest. "What do you want?" He smiled. "What I always want, to make you happy." He saw her gaze and raised his hand. I know, I've not been very good at that lately." He gave her the Christmas present. "You've no right to give me any Christmas presents. You've broken up with me." He sighed deeply. "I'm so sorry. If I had known how you would react and what would happen, if I'd known that you would let that Diego drag you into..." "He's not dragging me into anything. I'm with him because I want to be. I decide what I do. My decisions aren't always good, as we learned that January night, but I make my own decisions." He rubbed his hand over his face, sighed, and then looked at her again. "I broke up with you to make it better for you. Oh, and so that you could be together with uncomplicated Agneta, instead of problematic Jenny, who will never get over what happened." She finished his sentence. He put the Christmas present on the floor and grabbed her shoulders. "You know that is not true. I love you. I always have and I always will. There's nothing strange about you not being over it yet. You know what my psychologist said? That it was worse for you. She looked incredulously at him. Yeah, worse for you than for me. I know everyone pities me. I was beaten, I have the scars, but I barely remember what happened. I became unconscious almost immediately. I remember understanding what was going to happen. I remember the first blows and the first kick, but then I only remember the hospital. You, on the other hand, saw it all. I guess you still remember every single second of that horrible incident. She turned her face away and closed her eyes tightly. You were there and you were completely powerless. Being powerless is one of the worst things a human being can be exposed to. It's usually the most effective torture, harming someone close to the torture victim without that person being able to do anything. What you experienced was terrible. Please, darling, go get some counseling. You have to. She turned away and said in an unsteady voice, I want you to go now. He became small again, with his shoulders hanging. If only he knew how to reach her. I said go away. Lingeringly, he moved towards the door. When he was almost there, he turned around and said, if you want me and Agneta not to meet, at least not right now, we can stop seeing each other, if it would feel better for you. Stop talking to me like some pathetic freaking kid. The two of you can do whatever you want. Now go! Can you at least stop seeing Diego? If you don't go now, I'll ask my dad to throw you out. After a brief second, she added, actually, I don't need him for that. She opened the door and forcefully pushed him out of the door. Too late, she remembered that his balance was no longer good, so he fell headlong into the snow. She was just about to go out and help him get up when she saw that he was managing on his own. He would be all right. And if he needed support, he could always call Agneta. She slammed the door shut. Merry frickin' Christmas.